you're going to want to say that's too much. I know that already. Yeah, I'm hard of hearing anyway, so I'm not going to be able to hear you. Okay, welcome. Good evening, folks. My name is Kanoa, and the theme tonight is summertime, if you couldn't guess already. And so when I'm thinking about summertime was, especially in my youth, it was a time for exploration. It was a time to seek out new experiences, new ways of viewing the world, and jerking off. Actually, my youth was mostly spent jerking off. But I grew up in the 70s, and that's a time that I call the pornographic enlightenment. Because we were just coming out of the dark ages, where if you wanted to see a pornographic movie, you had to go to a movie theater and you had to be of age, or you had to have an audio-visual club type setup, right? You needed a projector and a screen. You needed at least a 3-hour block of time when nobody was home, so you could set it all up. Pardon me. So yeah, but by the 70s, there were magazines and things like that. And pardon me. So one of the aspects for me about summertime and sort of this, seeking out new experiences and such, was my friends and I. We'd get together and we'd raid our dad's porn stashes, right? Women, you probably don't know much about this, but most men probably do. You'd spend the night with a friend, or summertime, you'd go hang out at your friend's house. You get bored after a while, throwing fireworks at cats or whatever. And so you'd be like, well, so what's going on in your dad's room, man? We got going there. And so it was truly a time of wonder and fascination, because you'd raid one dad's stash and he'd be all into big boobs, right? And there'd be like big boob this and big boob that, and nurses with boobs and doctors with boobs and everybody with boobs. And then you go raid somebody else's stash and they'd be into lingerie and they'd be like dressing up or whatever. So my friends and I were like the crew of the Enterprise, basically, on a mission to explore strange new pornography, to seek out new worlds of perversion, and to boldly go where only our fathers had gone before. But that all came to an end. We stopped raiding porn stashes when we hit Timmy's dad's stash. It was all sadomasochistic gay porn. And that explained the whips and chains and the handcuffs in the garage. And, so it was a tough day for all of us, but especially for poor Timmy. And Timmy's mom. So, but back then we didn't have the internet, right? Nowadays, if you want to masturbate, basically all you have to do is walk into your living room, TV on, pornography, and boom, it's there, right? But back then, you couldn't even see titties, I mean, there wasn't HBO, you didn't have an option, yeah? You had to take titties where you could get them, where you could find them. And so, one of the most common places for us was National Geographic magazines, right? So, we had to resort to National Geographic, or what I call indigenous titties. It was a learning experience for me, because it had that added benefit of breaking down racial barriers, right? I didn't care if the titties were black, brown, green, purple, whatever, titties were titties, yeah? And I held that truth to be self-evident, that all titties were created equal and deserving of appreciation, and maybe even a squeeze if the time was right. So, but what I really want to say tonight is that sex is tough for men, and especially when you're young. When a man is 15, he's got a bazooka with a hair trigger in his pants, and he's scared shitless it's going to go off in public. And, the first few times you're making love to a beautiful woman or a confused young man, the whole emphasis is just not to come too soon, right? So, was that too much? Yeah, sorry. Sex is hard for men, right? I think all the men can agree with me, because we have to juggle the mental aspects of arousal with the hydraulics and the mechanics of keeping the dick hard. Yeah? So, It's kind of like being an anesthesiologist, right? You know, that doctor who keeps the patient unconscious during surgery. They have to keep the patient alive, but unconscious and unaware of what's being done to their body. And that's what we're doing when we're having sex. So if the penis starts to wake up while we're having sex, then the man has to think of things to keep it under, but not too far under, otherwise it will go away, right? So, you know, that's why baseball is a good distraction to think about. A zombie apocalypse is not. You know, because you want to keep from coming, you don't want to stop from coming ever again. You know? So we have to perform this balancing act, right? The penis is a goal-oriented organ. You know? The dick does not want to delay the process. Once it's hard, the ignition sequences go, liftoff is inevitable. And that's why, if anybody here watches Game of Thrones, anybody? So that's why men, and especially me, I can relate to that character Hodor. Right? The simple guy, the simple giant, yeah, who can only say his name, right? And I relate to him because he represents that struggle that all men go through when we're trying to keep the White Walkers from breaking through the door. Yeah? And that's why when I'm making love, you can often hear me whisper, Hodor. Hodor.
What do you call me?
So now you know my secret, honey. So enough about men. You know, women don't have it any easier, I don't think. Right? I don't know, but I don't think. And I struggle. You know, I mean, like for me, women's anatomy is mysterious. You know. Vagina is, to me, an enigma wrapped in a riddle surrounded by pubes. And the trend for women nowadays is to go full Pamela Anderson down there, but even in full daylight, I can't really make heads or tails of what's going on. Yeah. And so, you know, give you an example, my ex once told me that the clitoris is a woman's pleasure button. Yeah. So next time we were making love, I pressed her clitoris. And she looked at me like I was Rain Man, right? What the fuck are you doing? Yeah? You're supposed to rub around it. You're supposed to nuzzle. You're supposed to massage it. You know? You're supposed to get in there. And I said, then it's not a button. You know? I've never made the elevator come by rubbing all around the fucking button. But, you know, that's as far as I can make it last, folks, and I hope that you're all satisfied.